What's up, everybody? Today is July 10th, 2019. My name is Derek, owner and operator of www.gematrinator.com. In this video, we're going to explore the language of Gematria as a component of numerology and how the things that we witness in the mainstream media, our daily lives, appear to be coded with this numeric system. Based in ancient Hebrew and Greek alphabets, the practice of Gematria combines letters and numbers. In fact, in those languages, there were not separate numbers outside the alphabet. They simply used the letters, the order of which they appeared, to count the numbers. So, and this same concept is well and alive in the English alphabet. We start with the alphabetic order, where each letter is numbered 1 through 26 relative to its position in the alphabet. The reduction methods, or Pythagorean gematria, use the rules of numerology to reduce each double-digit number to a single digit. And it's not just numerology that we see overlap with, but we see this every day in the news, where we have the same theme throughout multiple stories in the same day. And this is something Zach picked up on too. In fact, CNN was toying with us by putting these two news stories in the same spot on their website, alternating them. And the connection is very clear to begin with. On the same day that a billionaire, Tom Steyer, who previously announced in January that he would not be running for president, he changes course and announces that he is running for president. The same very day that another former billionaire, Ross Perot, who did run for president in the 1990s, passed away. And not just that stands out about this connection, but look at their birthdays. Ross Perot was born on June 27th in 1930. Tom Steyer, also born June 27th in the year 1957. So these men share a birthday, and this is the wild thing about this. Now, when we're looking at these strange connections, it always seems odd to me to claim that a man who was 89 years old was murdered, and perhaps that very well is the case. Understand that either way, whether or not this man was murdered or he passed away of natural causes, I think they said it was leukemia that ultimately took his life, the numeric connections are there, and we are definitely living in a geometric universe. And think about how billionaires have been all over the news this week, in general. First, we had billionaire Chris Klein die in a helicopter crash. This is a story that I did a video on back on my YouTube channel. Something that happened completely by the Eclipse crucifixion code, which is based in the New Testament and the story of the death of Jesus Christ on the cross. A couple days later, we got news that billionaire Jeffrey Epstein was arrested on sex trafficking charges. A couple days ago, we got this news story about billionaire Bill Gates calling another former billionaire, the late Steve Jobs, a wizard. And now, a billionaire who ran for president passes away the same day another billionaire announces his candidacy for president. So in addition to the English Gematria ciphers, which we call the base 4 on my website, there's also something called Jewish or Latin Gematria, seen on the right side of your screen. This is certainly the most significant cipher outside of the base methods. And this cipher proves to be important. I talk about it in every single video. And I'm going to talk about how both these men's names tie into the ritual sacrifice code that we talk about in Murder by Numbers. Tom Steyer's full name is Thomas Farr Steyer, perhaps because he's a far cry from becoming president. Anyway, in Jewish Gematria, his name sums to 1054. And this number represents the number 154 in numerology terms. In the alphabetic order, the phrase ritual sacrifice has a value of 154. However, notice in reduction or Pythagorean gematria how ritual sacrifice has a value of 73. In fact, the word sacrifice on its own, summing to 73 in ordinal. This is the gematria in the reverse alphabetic order of Ross Perot's full name, Henry Ross Perot, summing to 73. And not only were they both born on the 27th day of the month, June 27th, but they were also born exactly 27 years apart. The word ritual sums to 27 in reduction gematria. Now, earlier we mentioned the ordinal value of sacrifice, 73, which is also the reduction value of ritual sacrifice. Well, notice how in standard reduction the word sacrifice has a value of 46. 46 is the gematria of Ross Perot's common name in that same cipher. And if you punch in his birthday and check out the numerology, you find he had what we call a life lesson number of 46 as well, matching his name, the sacrifice number. And on the date he died, he was in his 4,646th week since birth. And call that playing with numbers if you want, but I have no doubt that this absolutely was intentional, the fact that he was in his 4,646th week. So we can include the end date, but you can't include the end week. I hope you get my drift here. This is clearly part of the code that's at play. And remember, this number comes from the Bible. Here we're looking at the gematria of every Bible verse in the King James or Masonic Bible. And what's interesting is if you check out the 46th chapter of Genesis, it reads, "And Israel took his journey with all that he had and came to Beersheba and offered sacrifices unto the God of his father Isaac." So the 46th chapter of the Bible mentions a sacrifice. And in Hebrew gematria, the words murder and kill both sum to 46. So how interesting is this alignment? Now, in English gematria, the word kill has a value of 44. And in English extended, which is similar to Jewish gematria but uses the current 26-letter alphabet, the word kill sums to 89. And this is, of course, the age that Ross Perot passed away at, 89 years old. And that in itself is not that interesting because there's a lot of numbers here, but consider that in ordinal, the word kill sums to 44. And the 44th prime number is 193. This is a lot like his birth year of 1930. So once again, it's not just the gematria of the word sacrifice, but also the word kill, which we see repetitively coded into these deaths through the numbers. And once you understand this very simple language, it all comes into great clarity. And I don't know, again, call this playing with numbers, but you multiply 19 times 3 like his birth year and you get 57. And that's the year that Tom Steyer was born in. 57, the value of Scottish Rite. Also consider how Steyer is 62 years old at the time, and the word sacrifice sums to 62 in reverse reduction, so it seems like all of these numbers are covered. Some other numbers we see coded into these rituals are based in the word murder. Now, in ordinal, this sums to 79. And think about how Perot died on the 7th or the 9th of July, July 9th, 7/9. Ross Perot established his wealth by owning a company called Electronic Data Systems. And in reduction, Electronic Data Systems sums to 79. Notice how in ordinal it sums to 250. This represents the number 25. And 25 has a connection to the date as well, as the 9th of July is written 9/7 in most parts of the world. Also interesting that his birthday, June 27th, the birthday that he shares with Tom Steyer, also has this value of 250. And when we were mentioning 97, that's the reverse value of death as well. Now, in ordinal, the word death equals 38. This is the same as words like killing, 38, murder, 38 in reverse. The name Steyer equals 38 with this S exception, only reduced once. And this connects to Ross Perot's full name, Henry Ross Perot, summing to 163 in reverse, the 38th prime number. So whether it's death, murder, killing, sacrifice, they're all coded in like clockwork. And if you're familiar with my work, I talk a lot about total solar eclipses and how significant the dates on which they occur are in relation to news stories that we see every day. And perhaps this is why we're seeing so many billionaires in the news. The word billionaire in Gematria sums to 74 and 61 in our reduction methods. This whole code of sacrifice, again, is based in the Bible and the story in the Gospels of the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. And the name Jesus sums to 74 and 61 as well. And this year's total solar eclipse was just last week, Tuesday, on July 2nd. You'll see the only total eclipse of the year, the only one, or the first one, since the Great American Eclipse. This just occurred, so interesting that all these billionaires are in the news recently. So what stands out about this is that Thomas Farr Steyer, this guy's full name, in reduction equals 75. And if you measure from the date that he announced his candidacy to the next total solar eclipse, which is December 14th of 2020, which will be a pretty cool eclipse actually. This was a span of exactly 75 weeks. Also, there seems to be some sort of numeric riddle in the fact that he announced he would not be running for president on January 9th. Now, Tom Steyer's birth numerology gives us the number 109, 6 plus 27 plus 19 plus 57. And it's interesting that announcement, when you look it up, this announcement was made on January 9th. 109, and that's his birth numerology, 109. And that in itself, not a huge connection, right? But also consider that 109 is a prime number, the 29th prime number. And in reduction, the name Steyer equals 29. So he's kind of got a double connection to this number. And if you measure from that date to the date that he changed his mind, it was exactly 6 months later. Also a span of 26 weeks. The date he made his announcement had 26 numerology. This is also a span of 182 days. And then the word candidate equals 182. So, he announces he's not a candidate, and then he announces he is a candidate 182 days apart, the word candidate, 182. It's funny stuff. So thanks to people who jumped in late on the chat. I know this live stream was late notice. I kind of doing it a little early. I got stuff to do tonight. Yeah, I don't know if this is organic. Again, I'm just I've kind of accepted the fact that I don't know what's going on right now, and I'm just presenting the numbers as I see them. And I want people to understand that this is happening, because if it's true that people are getting murdered, then that's a pretty disturbing thing, and I think people need to be made aware of what's going on so that eventually we can get to the bottom of it. However, I acknowledge the fact that this organic matrix is absolutely amazing, and there's no doubt in my mind that a lot of what we're looking at in the news is actually organic. So that's for you to decide if you really want to make a decision in the first place. I'm just going to show you the numbers, and they're going to blow your mind mostly every time. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap this video up, and appreciate the kind words from everybody. That'll do it for this video. Peace, love, and God bless to all of you out there. And keep seeking that truth. And once you find it, keep speaking it. Appreciate your guys' love. Much love and respect. We'll see you next time. Adios.